coming up tonight,
learn what happened to this on-air personality that did not get a COVID vaccine.
And Gamecock women's sports had a lot on their plate this weekend. We'll tell you what you missed. And finally, homecoming week has arrived and things are heating up here on campus. But first, it was a sunny day here in the capital city. Our meteorologist, Caden Dinkins, is in the studio right now to tell us what's happening with the weather for the weekend. Caden, the sun was out today. How excited are you about that?
I am so excited about that, Finn. I actually do have some good news. That sun is going to stick around a little bit, but we do have a little bit of a foggy morning on Wednesday, a mostly clear, warm week, and then we do have a cold front that passes on Saturday that brings some exciting news for us here in Columbia, and a large temp drop on Sunday. Bring on the fall, let me tell you that. Well, I'll have all those details and more coming up tonight on SGTV Nightly.
Live from the Kennedy Greenhouse studio, this is SGTV Nightly News.
Good evening, Carolina. I'm Joshua Tekel.
And I'm Finn Carlin. Thanks for joining us tonight. We have breaking news from the Arts and Sciences Department as 2 professors will not be allowed to teach in the spring.
An email sent out to students details David Voros and Robert Bourne are barred from campus and instructing students next semester.
Voros and Bourne have been accused of sexual harassment by students and staff multiple times over the past few years. Voros was set to teach only online classes, but is now not allowed to instruct. Interim Dean Joel Samuels said in the email, quote, "I hope this action provides some reassurance that the concerns voiced by many in our community have been heard by both me and by university leaders."
The university has not sent a message to students and staff, but Samuel says that they will soon.
And a local sports personality was fired after refusing to get a COVID vaccine. Tim Hill co-hosted the early game talk show on 107.5 FM here in Columbia. After the radio station's parent company said all employees have to get vaccinated against COVID, Hill said he wouldn't do it.
It was something that I felt like I had to stand up for. I believe in sincerely. I would never tell anyone they had to be vaccinated or unvaccinated. I feel like this is a very personal choice.
Hill appealed to the station for a religious exemption to the vaccine requirement and was denied.
Cumulus Radio owns 107.5 and only allows those with legal exemptions to make the choice of not getting a COVID vaccine. The NAACP and the ACLU have sued South Carolina lawmakers who oversee the redrawing of district lines on Tuesday.
The complaint alleges that SC lawmakers are taking too long to draw new maps for U.S. and state house districts, which can pose a problem for citizens interested in running for office in 2022.
According to the lawsuit, the delay in redistricting prevents potential candidates from researching new districts they may want to run in, since the deadline to apply to run for office is coming up in March. In a statement, the ACLU said the legislature has suggested instead it will pass new maps and when it returns sometime in December or January. This means there won't be enough time for a court to evaluate the maps before the deadline for the 2022 primary elections. Faith-based nonprofits in South Carolina are looking for assistance as they help 400 Afghan refugees resettle in the state.
Following the fall of Kabul to the Taliban in August, the U.S. is currently housing 53,000 Afghans in military bases for preparation for the resettlement throughout the country.
Lutheran Services Carolina and World Relief Upstate are 2 nonprofits in South Carolina expecting to receive some of those refugee families.
These nonprofits are assembling community members or volunteers from local churches to provide each refugee family a team to walk alongside them as they rebuild their lives. That help can come in many forms or fashion,
including donating furniture or dry goods, tutoring English, and offering transportation for job interviews or appointments. You can find out more at lscarolinas.com.
All right, let's go ahead and get a look at the latest developments for COVID-19 around the state and on campus. In South Carolina, COVID cases and transmission have gone down over the past week, but the percent positive tests have been consistent. Today, 785 new cases were confirmed by SCDHEC in the state, adding to a total of about 321,000 cases. 17 new confirmed deaths were also reported today, adding to the total 11,300 cases, with 5 being probable deaths. And moving closer to home, COVID cases have continued dropping. There were no new coronavirus cases reported recently, and there are only 26 active cases for the campus. The percent positive of COVID tests is at around 1.5, up from 0.9% when the dashboard was last updated. As of right now, about 67% of the Columbia campus is fully vaccinated against COVID-19, and the university's alert level remains at new normal. And of course, Josh, we've talked about this before on Nightly News, but it's going to be, it's going to be crucial for people to decide whether they want to get the COVID vaccine, the flu vaccine, or both.
You're right. It's a lot of vaccines at once, and I can't tell you. Well, it's encouraging to see that COVID cases are going down on campus, but it's kind of overwhelming to know that flu season is another thing that we have to deal with. So I can't tell you how many times I've seen a lot of false alarms of people getting sick, but it turns out not being COVID. So it's encouraging to know we have both of those opportunities to do that.
Absolutely. And fortunately, if you decide to do so, we do have protection available against both viruses.
Correct. Coming up, we'll tell you about how South Carolina baseball is preparing for the spring, and our own Austin Nasser will give you updates on all things Gamecock women's sports. So stay tuned.
Welcome back to SGTV Nightly News. I'm your sports anchor, Austin Nasser. Hopefully all of you Gamecock students out there had a pleasant fall break. Whether you were here on campus or took a trip elsewhere, I'm sure it was enjoyable. However, maybe there were some things that prevented that planned out long weekend getaway from being just perfect. Can't think of anything? Well, here's something. To put it bluntly, it was a bad weekend for South Carolina athletics, with no thanks to those Tennessee Volunteers. Now I know what you're thinking. Yeah, we get it. Tennessee crushed us from start to finish on the football field. And you'd be right. Only Tennessee dominated South Carolina from start to finish all weekend long. Whether it was on the gridiron, the volleyball court, or the pitch, the Vols came out victorious in every matchup. To start things off, South Carolina volleyball hosted a doubleheader against a ranked Tennessee opponent this past Friday and Saturday, falling 3-1 on Friday and following that up by getting swept on Saturday. Then, of course, the Vols embarrassed the Gamecock football team in Knoxville on Saturday, cruising to a 45-20 win, and even with a final score like that, it still didn't show how much of a blowout the game was, as quite frankly, this contest was over before the first quarter had even ended. So after a couple of disappointing performances from women's volleyball and the football team, the final hope to knock off the Vols just once was lying at the feet of the women's soccer team. Now surely they'd be able to pull it off. After all, they've been strong all season, right? Well, unfortunately, the Vols got the best of the Gamecocks yet again. In true heartbreaking fashion, South Carolina conceded the lone goal of the match with less than 5 minutes to play, falling 1-0 and dropping their second game in a row. I think it's safe to say that Tennessee has some serious bragging rights over South Carolina right now, so I'd advise to try to keep your distance from their fans for a little while. And hey, you'll be doing yourself a favor too, since you won't have to look at that awful orange of theirs anymore. Now switching on over to the Diamond, even though the college baseball season may be many months away, there are a couple of opportunities coming up this week to get an early look at the Gamecock baseball team this year. Coming up this Thursday at 4:30 p.m., the Gamecocks will play the Scout Day scrimmage over at Founders Park. This scrimmage gives the opportunity for MLB scouts to come in and check out what the South Carolina players have to offer. The Gamecocks will then scrimmage again on Saturday at 10 a.m. The team is facing a lot of turnover after losing multiple key players this past season and will be looking for younger players to step up and fill the holes. Just this past year, 8 Gamecocks were selected in the MLB draft, with 3 players going in the 5th round. So Gamecock baseball fans, if you're eager for the season to start and miss games at Founders Park, head on over to catch South Carolina in action, as both scrimmages will be open to the public and, better yet, free. That's all for Gamecock Sports. Coming up, we'll tell you how to get dancing with the Salsa Showdown and also how you can get into the State Fair for free. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everyone. Even though it was a little bit of a disappointing weekend for Gamecock athletics, at least we've got some exciting events coming up very soon. I'm Callista Yost.
And I'm Brianna Lachey. Let's get started. Well, all of this talk of homecoming really puts me in the mood for some dancing and having a good time.
I'm pretty sure we're all looking forward to a night out with some friends to let loose. And luckily, we won't have to look too far. Right in the Russell House Ballroom, there will be a salsa showdown.
The event ends at 9 and it's free, so after the show, you still have a little time to go enjoy some tasty salsa and learn a few new moves. And I think I might actually take that up after I, get off from my job.
I know, sounds so much fun. I've tried salsa dancing one time. I'm terrible, but I know I can practice and I know I can get better.
I feel like I have a little rhythm to, learn.
Wait, what's that, Bree? Guys, I think I can smell the funnel cakes already.
Oh, girl.
The South Carolina State Fair is starting tomorrow. I don't even think I can put into words how excited I am to be back for an in-person fair this year, complete with rides, games, and all the fair food you can fit in your stomach.
For my UofSC students, you can go to the fair for free admission on Thursday. And to avoid the traffic, you can even take a shuttle from the Horseshoe starting at 6 p.m.
That's gonna be so fun.
It really is. That's quite handy that they have the shuttle going to the fair. Like, that's so
Yeah, it's gonna be great. And the shuttle goes from 6 p.m. until 11 p.m.
Yeah, our school is literally the best. So today started off on a good note with a grab and globe on Davis Field. I was welcomed by a UofSC student to give the rundown on what's happening. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name's Ellie Tharp, and I'm here with Homecoming. It's Homecoming Week at USC, and right now we're just at an event called Grab and Globe where you can come get food from all around the world.
The food was absolutely delicious, and everyone seemed to enjoy all of the festivities surrounding. It was truly a trip around the world for your taste buds, and Callista, I was absolutely in love with the dish from Greece. I literally went back for seconds. It was so good.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. Describe it. I want to experience it.
It was I think it had like spinach or something. I might be saying the wrong vegetable, but it was so good. Like, it was a little greasy, but you know, that's my favorite type of food anyway.
Sounds good. I love spinach.
Yeah.
All right, guys, homecoming is in full swing, and one of my all-time favorite events is coming up tomorrow.
The Spurs and Struts dance competition will be at the Convention Center tomorrow from 9 to 6 p.m.
If you haven't gotten a chance to go yet, each team of one NPC sorority and fraternity will be doing a dance routine to see who has the best moves in all of Greek Village. Now, my sorority tends to do pretty well in this event every year, so I get really, really hyped.
There really seems to be a lot of dancing going on around, so I mean,
I know,
it's pretty
dancing,
fun.
smiles, everyone's been so happy.
Yes, well, coming up, meteorologist Kaden Dinkins is back to tell us if this warm sun will stick around this week, right after this break.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, Brianna, that is definitely one of the questions is, will this weather stick around for the rest of the week? But also, the question I've mostly been getting is, where is this fall weather? Well, I'll get to that in the next few slides. But right now, let's get right into the highs of today in Carolina. So we had a nice 78 in Columbia, and we kind of had a stretch right through the Midlands and into the upstate from 78 in Aiken, all the way into Columbia to Florence and in Rock Hill, and then we jumped up to 79 in Greenville with a 75 in Greenwood, a little bit cooler, and then a 77 in Orangeburg, and a little bit warmer in Hilton Head at 80 degrees. That is our highest temperature of the state today, and then a 78 in Charleston and a 76 in Myrtle Beach. So cooler, higher 78, higher 70s, but we'll jump right in to the higher 80s in this high temperature trend. You can see that we have a low of 79, we had a high of 78, 78 to 79 today, and the average is 82 right here in the middle. So high of 79 today, and then we jump up to an 86 on Wednesday. We kind of have this nice curve going on that's visualized with a high of 88 and a high of 89. We get into those very high temperatures, almost like summer-like again here in Columbia, all the way through Friday, and then 87 on Saturday, and then we have this steep drop on Sunday to a 77, and that is because we do have a cold front pushing through on Saturday from the storm Pamela. That is what we're hoping to see. That is off the coast. That is actually in Mexico right now, and it's pushing towards Texas and will push across to the southeast. And after that cold front passes, we will see some cooler, drier air, and hopefully it'll feel a little bit more like fall. We also can expect a little bit more precipitation starting at the end of that week. We don't see it quite yet, but it could be forecasted later on in this week. So this week, starting tomorrow, Wednesday, we do have a little bit of a foggy morning, but that is only before 8 a.m. with a high of 86 and a low of 82. And then Thursday, we have a mostly clear day, a few clouds with a high of 88 and a low of 64. And then Friday is nice and sunny and warm, so I hope you guys get outside right before that game day on Saturday, and it has a high of 89 and a low of 65. And like I said, we're playing Vanderbilt on Saturday. We have a high of 87. Not too bad. It will be pretty warm because that sun will be nice and bright up in the sky. And then we have a low of 59. So it'll be a little bit chilly towards the end of the night. Sunday, we do have that large temp drop, almost 10 degrees to 77 degrees and a low of 52. But hopefully that will stick around into Monday with a high of 76 and a low of 50 with clear skies. It'll be nice and beautiful for us. And that's all I have for you guys tonight on tonight's edition of SGTV Nightly News Meteorologies. But coming up next, we'll have your tonight's edition of Carolina Canines.
And finally tonight.
Tonight's Carolina Canine is Odin. This picture was sent in by Cassette McCullough.
Odin is a 3-month-old Bernese Mountain Dog who loves taking walks, or laying down, and hanging out with his mom. And Josh, I have a Bernese Mountain Dog Australian Shepherd mix at home named Toby, and he's 11, so he's a bit of an old man. And so seeing Odin made me, first of all, love puppies even more, but secondly, be a little bit sad that Toby has lost a little bit of his playfulness. But he still finds plenty of time to lay down, just like Odin does.
I love dogs with thick coats like that too. 'Cause
Yeah.
they're really nice to pet and have sleep with. It's really convenient. I don't know if Odin was inspired by God of War or not, or if it was directly related to Marvel at all. And
I was
know you're a
about to
Marvel
say,
fan.
I'm a huge Marvel guy, so I appreciated the little Marvel tie-in with
Yeah,
Odin. So hopefully
yeah.
it's Marvel, but if it's God of War, I won't be too mad.
It's all
I don't know video games too much.
That's all we have for tonight's edition of SGTV Nightly News.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at SGTV at USC.
To keep up with all of our content, be sure to also visit us online at sgtvonline.com. And one more thing, be sure to subscribe to our brand new News Brief SGTV recap in time to receive next week's edition.
We will be sending you a recap of all the week's news from SGTV every Monday morning. For SGTV Nightly News, I'm Finn Carlin.
And I'm Joshua Teckle. From all of us here at SGTV, have a great night, Carolina, forever to lead.